Hello everyone, welcome back to today's episode of LeetCode Daily, and we are gonna solve the streak question of the day. I am maintaining my streak as you guys can see here. You guys can also maintain the streak. So today it is a hard question. It is a bit hard for me also. So I will try to explain you guys as much as possible, and then I will write the code and you can code with me along the way. So the question number 2435, paths in matrix whose sum is divisible by k. So you are given a zero indexed m cross n integer matrix, okay, and an integer k. You are currently at position 0 0 and you want to reach position m minus 1 n minus 1, moving only down or right. So first thing is we are given a zero index integer. That is very important. It doesn't start with 1, it starts with 0. Like zero indexed arrays are there. Okay? And an integer k is also provided. So it's like here we are provided a grid, or you can say in this picture also, and we are provided the value of k, which is equals to 3. And we are currently at position 0 0 and we want to reach m minus 1 n minus 1. So if it is 3 by 3, we want to reach 2 by 2. Okay, moving only down or right, so either we can move right side or downside or maybe both. Okay, so what do we have to return? We have to return the number of paths where the sum of the elements on the path is divisible by k. So like we have to, like the path that you're following, we have to add all the elements of that, and then we have to check if they are divisible by the k given value. So if the answer may be very large, then we have to return it in the modulus form of 10 to the power 9 plus 7. Okay, hope you guys are able to understand this question. This is a hard question. Maybe you can't understand it once, or maybe not from me, but from somewhere else. So you guys have to keep trying. So the input is grid 524305072. Okay, and we are given the k as equals to 3. So the output is 2, which means there are two paths where the sum of the elements on the path is divisible by k. Basically the first path, which is in this way 52452. So here we are reaching like 2 by 2 here, and as a sum 5 plus 2 plus 4, 5 plus 2 18, which is divisible by 3, and other part is this zigzag path, which is highlighted in blue, also provides the sum as 15, which is divisible by 3. In this case 0, y k is equals to 5. The output is 1. Why? Because this is the only path highlighted in red and has the sum 0 always, because both are 0, which will be divisible by 5. Similarly, in this case 734923622370, we are given an input 1. But since every integer is divisible by 1, so the sum of the elements on every possible path is divisible by k. So that's why output is 10. That means 10 is the sum of elements on every possible path which is divisible by k. What we have to return? The number of paths. So basically we have to return the number. So if this is path, then this is first path, this is second path, this is one path. There are 10 paths in this case. So that is what we have to find or write the code about to find a solution. Obviously the answer will be very large. That's why we have to return it in the form of modulo 10 to the power 9 plus 7. So let's start writing the code along with me. Hope you guys will be understand along with the way. So without a further ado, let me start doing the question. Let me enlarge it and then maximize it for you guys as much as possible. So what we are gonna do now is we already have an like a array grid basically, and the integer k, which is the two inputs. Now we will be defining a integer. Let me type it for you guys. Integer, again square braces or maybe brackets, mem, mem, which is equals to new integer, new integer. Now again square brackets. Now grid dot length grid dot length, and now grid square brace is 0 again, grid 0 length, and then again square braces k, and then we put the semicolon behind it. Very important. So here this is one integer mem variable where it is about grid, and then we have to return the number of paths. Okay, so now return This is going to be a large code, so just be patient. I will keep typing it and you guys can also see along the way. That's why I have not copy pasted or something. Number of paths, now grid, comma 0, comma 0, comma 0, comma k, comma mem, the variable we defined earlier. Now we are gonna define a private static final int mod, just like public static void main. That is how we're gonna define. Okay, so now let's define it here. Private static final int mod equals to 1 underscore 000, again underscore 000, again underscore 007, because 10 to the power 9 plus 7. That is a modulo that we have to return. So that's why we are putting it in the modulus form here with integer as the data type. Now we have to return the number of paths to ij, where the sum and the remainder of k should be equal to the sum. Let me do it so that you guys can understand it better. So here semicolon given. Now again private int number of paths, private int number of paths, int, again unnecessary spaces we don't have to provide now. Grid, then we are defining an integer variable I, then integer variable j, then integer of sum, then integer of input k, and then integer square braces, square brackets, and then mem, which we defined already earlier. Now curly braces inside. Now we are going to run a for loop, if statement. We are going to write a if statement. If I equals grid dot length j equals grid 0 dot length, so that means it is the 0th index. Okay, what do we have to return? We have to return 0. Return 0. Okay, now again a if statement. Again other if statement is if I equals grid dot length -1 and j equals grid 0 dot length -1. I also have to make sure that I am writing the right code. That's why I'm like making sure there are no mistakes, and I am writing it on the way with you guys. Now we are going to return the sum, because here it is under the conditions provided. So we are going to return sum, that the variable which we have already defined, plus grid ij, plus grid I, then j, plus sum plus grid ij whole modulus of k, which should be equals to 0 or not, which is to 0. semicolon. Now again we are gonna write a if statement, which is if mem I j sum is not equal to null. This is also if statement. That means if it is not equal to null, here what do we have to return? Return mem. I'm sorry guys if you are having any background noise other than my keyboard, because maybe guys there's some function going on, so like that's why. I don't have a noise cancellation system as of now, but I will surely make it up in the future. Right now let's focus on the problem itself. So returns mem ij in end sum. So this is three things: ij end sums. That is what it is returning. Now it will be returning a final integer that we will require. Final int, which is the new sum, which is a new sum. Grade ij semicolon, then return I, return j, then return sum, which will be equals to bracket number of paths, again bracket, now grid I plus 1 new sum,